So I'm just going to talk about things that I've just been inspired to talk about, coming the release of Britney's book. Britney is a very interesting character for me because I think out of all the singers, I would most associate myself with her. But it's strange because she's nothing like me, and I'm hugely angry at everything that she's done. And I don't want her to be my representation, but for some reason, I've always, been led to believe that. And just thinking about certain things has made me brought up the memories that I have in 2013. I feel like there's a book is out and people are interested to know about it, to know the truth and stuff. But yeah, I don't believe that the book is the truth. I don't believe that. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know if she knows about me. I don't know what she knows. Everything about her is confusing. But thinking about her has kind of reminded me of what I would say my truth is, and I think people are more interested in my truth, or at least they are if they believe that I'm Christ. If you don't believe that I'm Christ, then just turn off this video because I'm not interested in what you have to say. But yeah, I in 2013 I met Martin Dodd, who was someone who would work with him and work with her, and he's worked with Kesha and and um, and some people. But I said that I was Christ, and or at least I was Eve. In the beginning of July 2013, I looked in the mirror, kind of remembered my past life as her, and then I kind of believed that I was Christ because I've had a shitty life. I've not had much. I didn't have any opportunities, and I've always felt like I was in some sort of prison where people can't see me, and just everything kind of the disaster of my life seemed to come together, and it seemed to make sense that I was Christ. And then songs started talking to me. Martin Dodd, there was Britney Spears. Straight after I posted that, there was a trailer where Britney Spears said she's got a new album coming out, Glory or whatever, um, and she is taken into some sort of security room, and she looks like there's someone tied, or I don't know, she looks like she's being tied up and going through some sort of sexual abuse or whatever, but also looking like she liked it. I was seeing a lot of things that proved that I was Christ, and for her to do that was kind of sick, and didn't and was confusing, and was hurtful and was insulting. But it for me it was confirmation that people knew about me, and these people were obviously rich. They obviously had money to make these films. The one where she's in the desert standing upside down on an upside down pyramid. All these things proved that there was a group of elite people who knew about me. And because I saw, and Gaga did the applause, I longed for the applause. And all the songs that they were doing, Katy Perry did the "You're Gonna Hear Me Roar" where she's dressed up as Eve. Just those three alone, and there was a lot more of them, but just those three alone made me convinced that there was a group of people who knew about me. And okay, a lot of their videos seem to be sick and just about sex, but uh, I believe that they were doing that to help me. But by doing that, they actually just shut me up because I felt like I didn't need to say anything. I didn't want to be the one that goes around saying, "Hey, Christ is here." I wanted people to talk for me, and it felt like they were helping me because they were doing those songs, and it felt like they were doing those songs because they were, I don't know, trying to wake people up to the fact that Christ is here, that Christ wants the applause and she's going to get it soon. And I just don't know why they did what they did, because I was convinced that they were doing it to help me at the time. And because I thought they were helping me, I felt like I didn't need to do anything. I just needed to wait until, they actually come and help me. Um, and there was it was a very horrible time though, because I believed that I was a cave woman in my past life. And if you actually think about that, so imagine you look yourself in the mirror, and imagine you see a cave woman, and then imagine you believe that that was you. The first thought that comes to your mind is, where the fuck have I been for the last 23 years? Have I just been asleep, or what the hell is going on? When it comes to songs, I did have this huge amount of love towards Martin, which didn't make any sense. But I don't know, people, the Sabrina film came into my head. It's just like, oh, trust your heart and stuff. It's okay. Okay, well, my heart is choosing Martin for some reason, and I think he was my son back then, and I'm just going to trust in him and just assume that everything's going to fall into place. And therefore I didn't feel like I needed to say anything. I felt like some sort of light was shining out of me. I felt like I couldn't get up. I felt like I was just kind of attached to a bed. I said that Madonna was the God representation, and and Beyonce was, the next me. That's what I said back then. And she came up with the album Four, and it was just like, well, she's the fourth me. So yeah, that kind of fits in, because in October I found out I was a Leo, and I saw things that people were doing that kind of hinted that. And so if it didn't feel like I actually had much power at this stage. I felt like the people that had heard about me, were just trying to set up something to make it look like I was more powerful than I was. And at the time, I was just like, well, it's lies, and I don't really agree with it. But if you're making me look more powerful to set something up, then okay, that just gives me hope that you are setting something up, and maybe I will be able to get out of this tiny studio flat and this room that was very, very small. And it was horrible knowing that the people who were doing these things were kind of living big mansions, or that's how it seemed on YouTube and stuff. I didn't have Instagram back then, but I had YouTube, and I had basic news stuff on the internet, although I didn't really go on the internet throughout that time. I think actually for the whole of that time I didn't really go on the internet, because I felt like it was talking to me. Like, you watch one video, you start saying things in your head, and you watch another video, and it almost feels like the people in that video have heard what you've just said in your head, and are saying things in answer to your questions. Because I was trying to get answers, and I turned to the Bible, I turned to religion, and it felt like people could hear me. It felt like things, agendas, stories were starting to be created around it felt like there was a group of people who were setting something up, and therefore I didn't feel like I needed to do anything. So I didn't say anything much at all. And I feel like I'm saying this because if there's going to be a proper awakening of the whole world, I feel like it should come in that kind of way, where I do get onto TV, I do give people an opportunity to get to know me for a short time, and then I just hide and don't say anything. Can't believe it's been 10 years. Can't believe it's been 10 years. But yeah, I had no knowledge of Britney Spears being in a conservatorship, and it happened in 2000. I think it was 2016. After 3 years, there was prophecies about the sacrifice being ended halfway through in the tribulation. So I was thinking, the longest it would be, the absolute longest would it be, with 3.5 years. That wait was awful. There was a group of people who knew about me, seemed to have fun, seemed to have the power. I seemed to have no power other than just to watch what they were doing, and just kind of think, well, it does relate to me, but yeah, this isn't really what I would want to promote. But you know what, if that's what their choice is, I will respect their choice, I will respect their decisions, and I'll try and just enjoy it. But I'm just thinking, but I'm not having a nice life. I'm not having, and then I got evicted from my flat, because I was forced to go back to massage, because I spent 2 years not working, and I was just running out of money. And well, I wasn't running out of money, but I inherited 20. I had 70,000. It went back down to 50,000, because I inherited 20 from my granddad, who died for earlier. But I knew that if I ever wanted to buy a house, I would need at least 50,000 to put in as a deposit, or so I didn't want to get less than 50,000. So as soon as I went down to the 50,000, it was like, right, well, I need to think about long-term future, because the people who are lying to me about helping me clearly aren't. And I didn't say too much, because I thought they were helping me, and it was clear that they weren't helping me. The problem is, after about 2 years, I started looking online, seeing all the religious videos, and realizing that the religious people aren't helping me either, because they're promoting Jesus. They're promoting something that's not me. They're promoting lies. They're promoting that God can do everything. And I'm just sitting in a studio flat thinking, what the fuck's going on? I can't do anything. And they're saying that I can do everything, and this is all my choice and all my will and all my plan. And so it's like, they're not helping me. They're not helping me. I started getting angry at Beyonce. I think she was the first one that I started getting angry at, because I was trying really hard to like her. There's nothing wrong with being different. There's nothing wrong with being a bit slutty. There's nothing wrong with being like that. But if you're trying to be like that whilst thinking that you're like me, well, that's not the truth. And I felt like she was doing what she was doing because she was trying to represent the next me, a me that's more powerful, a me that's better. And I just wasn't agreeing with any of that. And that's when I was just like, what, this girl, I don't know what she is, but I was obviously wrong about thinking that she represents the next me. I mean, she only had about 3 or 4 songs before I started saying that she was the next me. And the majority of the songs that came out in 2013 were actually had their dates changed to make it look like they were done before. I mean, technically, maybe there were some stuff that just wasn't on YouTube, and maybe it was done generally before. So it's hard to know what the truth was. I mean, maybe she was just selling them, in a different location and didn't put them on YouTube because it's free on YouTube. So maybe things were being done beforehand, but I don't know the truth from the lies, because all I know is that there wasn't that much on her YouTube page. And after I started saying that, there was tons of stuff, but she again was just making herself look like a prostitute and a slut. Now, if you want to be a prostitute and a slut, that's completely your life, your body, your choice. I don't care. But if you're going to do that whilst pretending that you're me, then that's not okay. And I had to make that very clear that this girl did not represent me. And that's when she stopped doing songs and stuff. And I didn't agree with Britney Spears what she was doing either. But then I was having these really strange feelings towards Martin that didn't make sense but didn't go away either. And therefore, even though I didn't agree with her songs, if you have a strong sexual desire towards someone, you know, you can't say that that's not the truth, because that's generally how you feel, even though you don't understand how you feel, because I didn't really know him or like him, and I thought he was responsible for just turning his back on me. But when the conservatorship came on, when I first heard about it and they said it was in 2008, I didn't believe it. I tried to look around to see if other people believed it, and there were people saying, "Oh no, that is the truth. They're just not talking about it. That's all." But it was always played down like it was nothing, and it always made me think, was there a conservatorship? Because I don't think there actually was. But part of the conservatorship is that the conservator doesn't take any responsibility for anything. So I was thinking, even if this is real, fake, I don't care. People, I'll let it slide. People can, if it's real or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, if it's real, then it just kind of shows that this, if she is my representation, I could read it as that I'm not responsible for what the music industry is doing. But yeah, I also felt like it was a kind of attack on, or people saying that they want to control me and you know have take all my assets. If I'm God and if this planet is mine, then they can have all my assets and do what they want with it because it's under their control. But at the same time, I don't never felt like I had any control over this world. So seeing things from that perspective is like, if you marry someone, the person you marry kind of owns half of what you own. But and if I'm God, you can think, wow, I own the world and stuff. If I marry someone, I own half of you, great. So they'll own half of what I own. But that's not how I see it. I feel like this world has just rejected me. This world doesn't want me. I don't feel like I have anything. I've got a tiny cheap house that's not really worth that much, and therefore um, marriage to me is probably more of a benefit, because I feel like anyone I marry is probably going to be richer than me, or have more control. And so there's lots of ways you could see it, although I don't want to marry just for that. But that is technically why, if someone wants a better life, marrying someone that has more possessions is I guess something that you want. But I know that I'm Christ and God, but I don't feel like this world is mine. I feel like I just want to die and go back home, which is not this place. But yeah, I just thought I would say all this because it's reminded me, and I don't trust the people that have been doing this. And I feel like I don't trust Britney because I also feel like she has got mental conditions. Back when she was doing all those disgusting songs in 2013 and 2014, I felt like maybe these people had invited her to a bunch of sex parties and were just, I don't know, having group orgies and stuff like that. I mean, people were talking about sex orgies, and Britney Spears seemed like a candidate that would probably go for that, especially considering that "Make Me Ooh" song, the original version of how she had that. That looks like someone who's just gone to some disgusting sex party and now has a bunch of embarrassing videos that she doesn't want to get out, and is willing to say whatever, do whatever to prevent it from getting out. And maybe she was told about me, but maybe she started getting freaked out, and maybe she had some mental breakdown because of believing that I'm not actually Christ, that I'm not actually anything special, doing whatever the elites want, including sex parties. And then suddenly something triggered in her brain, and she's like, shit, God is real. And I have actually been insulting. And I think her brain might have just triggered or gone and then just blanked out everything that happened in her life. And she's turned into someone with dementia or something. I don't know when it comes to her. When it comes to her, I don't know. I feel confusion. I feel denial. I feel controlled, and I don't care because I mean I do care because I I was calling her my representation for a long time, so I do care. But at the same time, it's like I just want to know the truth. And I don't believe that that book is going to have the truth. And I feel like a lot of people want to know the truth about me. So that is why I've just said what I've just said, because this is what I believe is the truth. Whether it's the truth or not, I don't know. I know I am God. I know that is the truth. Some people would say that that part is not the truth. But whatever, they're backwards, or more backwards than I am. And yes, don't know what else to say other than I'm still hurt by this date that people seem to. I don't know. I don't know how many people actually know about me, or if the same. I don't think it's the same now. Whoever was controlling the first group of of information, I feel like, I don't know, but if a lot of them have died, I wouldn't be surprised. If Martin has gone and killed himself over this, I would not be surprised, and I do not even care. Um, yeah, I am confused about. I feel like there is a date on which people have been hiding and know to hide me for, or to ignore me before, and I know that that date is going to. I don't know. It's going to end. I don't. I have no hope that it's going to. It's been way too long. Um, but yeah, I'm reading signs and things are saying that they're coming to an end. I know that I've got so much more power that now than I had at the beginning. You know, at the beginning things were linking to me, but it was only linking towards my feelings towards a guy I didn't actually like. So it was always very confusing. But I think ever since I've started naming the angels proper names, that's angels. I guess are not actually supposed to be for God. They're supposed to really be for the world, for God to use as a vessel to kind of help the world. That's kind of what they're for, and they're not helping me. I mean, they might be helping me help you. So I guess they might be helping my higher self help you, but I'm confused about my higher self because I feel like two different people that think two different things, and I'm getting angry and I want to be angry at people, but my higher self feels differently, and then I'm just left in confusion as to, I want to show my anger towards you so that you just call me up and say, okay, we're going to put you on TV. Um, and I don't know why Big Brother would put on that show when I told them not to. I mean, to me that just shows that then they're still not listening to me. But they are. Sometimes they say things and they do that, and it's just, I don't know. It's like I don't want people to not listen to me, but I know sometimes if they don't listen to me, there might be a good purpose for it, or maybe there isn't. And I'm tired.